Miles Edgeworth, Ace Attorney Investigations. New game. Yes, please. Episode 1, Turnabout, Visitor. March 14th, 1:16 a.m. Lots and lots of question marks. To make sure the defendant is found guilty, what other choice do I have? That's the job of a prosecutor, after all. That may be true, but why? Why go this far? Someone's gonna die. It's gonna happen. Sorry, maybe I wasn't clear enough, but a guilty verdict is all that matters to me. Well, that's not Edgeworth, no matter what the cost. I'm a prodigy among prosecutors. Can't be that good. You just had to kill a guy and help you yourself. Always have been, always will be. Not for long, dude. We know what your face is. March 14, 2:05 a.m. Prosecutor's Building, 12th floor hallway. It's Edgeworth. It's hard to believe that I've been away from my office for a whole month. So what happens when you leave, Edgeworth? People die in your office. I hope Detective Gumshoe has been keeping an eye on my office. And keeping it clean. The door is unlocked. Disaster. Detective Gumshoe? What's this smell? It's very familiar. Blood? Now we have to stop to wonder why blood is a very familiar smell to Edgeworth. Probably his very tragic past. Or he could be a vampire. Oh, crap. What the? There's a dead guy in my room. What's the meaning of this? Freeze, says the question marks. Oh, he looks pissed off. Identify yourself. Shut up. You've got some nerve committing murder in a prosecutor's office. Is that a threat? Let me make one thing very clear. What? No one gets away with committing murder in my office. No one. That's what you're concerned about, Edgeworth? Not the guy holding a gun to your back. ... He runs away. Instead of shooting the best prosecutor in the state, or possibly the country. My name is Miles Edgeworth. I work as a prosecutor in my local district. Little did I know that upon my return home after a month abroad, I would be thrust into a multitude of cases in some very frantic and busy days. March 14th, 2:56 a.m. High Prosecutor's Offices, room 1202. Edgeworth. I finished photographing the victim's body, sir. Very well. Please continue your investigation. Yes, sir. Where's Gumshoe? I want Gumshoe. Edgeworth is not amused. Ah! What's Gumshoe? Oh my god. Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Are you okay, sir? Keep it down, detective. This is a crime scene. When I heard that a murder had taken place in your office, I ran up here straight away. Because you are a puppy dog, Gumshoe. You are the best. This is Dick Gumshoe. He is a detective with the local precinct. And the one they assigned to handle this murder case for the time being. You're looking a little pale, sir. Are you hurt? No, I'm perfectly fine. However, look what they did to your office. It's totally trashed. I think that's kind of what happens when a crime happens, Gumshoe. I'll say. The culprit sullied my floor with dirt rather well. You're concerned about dirt, Edgeworth, and not, the blood you smelled earlier? No one gets away with tracking mud into my office. Tracking mud and blood, right? Whoa, sounds like you're getting really burned up over the whole thing. This crime was committed in my office, so it is my responsibility to solve it. Isn't that what the police is for, Edgeworth? That's just like you, Mr. Edgeworth. Okay, time to do some investigating. Agreed. Our first course of action is to gather relevant facts and leads. We must not overlook anything, no matter how small, if we are to find the truth. So I'll keep any leads or information we find etched in the forefront of my mind. Speaking of things that pique my curiosity, why of all places did the murder occur in my office? Crime scene, my office. Is it really coincidence that the murder took place in my office? Well, probably not. Ooh, logic. I get the nagging feeling that this is something important to keep in mind. You don't say, Mr. Edgeworth. You don't say. Yeah, I was wondering that myself, sir. I mean, can't really say it's just a coincidence, can you? No, not really, especially because of this. Key. It is the key to the case. It's the key to his office. What do you mean, sir? If you think about it carefully and use logic, it should become clear to you. Phoenix's superpower is his Magatama. Athena's superpower is her feelings screening. Apollo can perceive things, and Edgeworth uses logic. Logic? By finding the connection between two pieces of information and connecting them, new information is born. That is the end result of using logic. So how do you use it? First, I recall information through the logic button, and then connect them together. Wow. His superpower is remembering things and logicking them together. Now to touch the logic button and recall the facts. Connect my thoughts. Crime scene, my office. And the office key. I wonder what kind of logic that will bring us. Took me a while to find that key. For security reasons, all prosecutors' doors are outfitted with locks, which means it would have been hard for the murderer and the victim to get in here. Ergo, it's impossible to dismiss the location of this crime as a mere coincidence. Especially, since you're the most powerful guy on this side of the law in LA. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, sir. There must be a reason why someone infiltrated my room. What was the killer after? Ooh, I got a logic sparkle. You're really on the ball today, Mr. Edgeworth. That's some beautiful logic, sir. Yes, well, when you follow leads to their conclusion, only the truth remains. However, if the information doesn't line up properly, I must stray far from the truth as well. But if I think carefully before piecing leads together, the logic should flow. So doing the exact opposite of what Phoenix Wright would do. Well, let's get started with our investigation, shall we? Yes, sir. Begin investigation. High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. The basis of any good investigation is to examine everything, sir. I know that. And when I want to examine something, I simply touch the examine button. And what exactly is the examine button to you, Edgeworth? Oh, if you ever feel lost and want to talk, just touch the partner button, okay? I'll give you great, precise advice as an ace investigator, sir. That's highly unlikely, Gumshoe. As much as I love you. Something to try later if I have free time, I suppose. Actually, let's try the partner button. How do I press it? I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Amazing that I can actually walk around this. Alright. Let's examine this gun. What have we here? Could this perhaps be the murder weapon? No, one of the cops just left that lying around Edgeworth. If so, it would mean that the killer made their escape after disposing of their gun here. I think I've seen one of these before. Care to enlighten me as to where? Oh, I know. I was issued the exact same model. I think. Detective. I don't really like guns all that much. I mean, they're really dangerous. Oh, Gumshoe, you're like the cutest thing ever. But now that I think about it, you do see this model around the precinct a lot, sir. I don't use mine much, except in emergencies, so that's why I didn't recognize it. So the same type of revolver as the ones used by the precinct's detectives. Ooh, sparkly logic bubble. No, I want to do that. Got the organizer. And found partner button. You called, sir? Notice anything? Is there anything you notice that you'd like to share, Detective Gumshoe? Just that I rushed over here as soon as I heard there was a murder in your office, sir. The investigation's just gotten started, so I guess there's not much else to say. So, were you the one that found the body, Mr. Edgeworth? Unfortunately. Upon my return, I found my office door to be unlocked. And what awaited me inside was this whole messy affair. Ouch, that's rough. Even though I left the security of this room to a certain detective. So sorry, sir. About investigating? I assume you understand how to conduct investigations, Detective Gumshoe. Of course, sir. Examine things by tapping them or by touching the examine button. By checking various things out, we gather evidence and information. You can see the evidence we've collected by touching the organizer button. For information and leads, it's the logic button. I guess because Gumshoe lacks any logic, that's why he couldn't make that leap. That's it. Great job, sir. Deductive reasonable is the way to go. It's called deductive reasoning, detective. Clearly something you lack. Let's go back. Actually, let's try presenting our badge to the detective. What's wrong? Oops, also wrong again. Present. Yeah, let's present that. Your prosecutor's badge is really tiny compared to my police badge. Aww. Oh, but it's really cool, sir. Much cooler than my badge could ever be. Nice save. There's no need to suck up to me, detective. Oh, you hurt his feelings. All right, let's go back. Let's continue investigating. Let's talk to this guy. Do you have anything to report? Sir, yes, sir. Nothing out of the ordinary right now, sir. And yet there's something out of the ordinary right in front of my eyes. Talk about a contradiction. Something out of the ordinary, huh? I should look around a bit more. Let's look at his couch. I hope we can solve this case quickly. I'd like to return to relaxing on this sofa. Yes, a dead guy in your office is quite the inconvenience, isn't it, Edgeworth? That thing looks a billion times softer than my mattress at home. Oh. Can I sit on it too? Just for a little while, sir? Detective Gumshoe, you know I can't allow that. Until this case is solved, neither of us has time to spare, let alone rest. You're right, sir. I'm going to work hard and be a real trooper to the end. Even once this case is over, I don't think he can afford to take any time off. And whose fault is that, Edgeworth? Keeps deducting his paycheck. Let's talk to this guy. How is it coming along? Please, I need absolute silence. Fingerprint lifting is a delicate art. Well, I guess he's not used to people being rude to him. He's just used to being rude to other people. Let's look at the Steel Samurai. Well, it's a good thing my Steel Samurai doll was spared any harm. Oh, Edgeworth, you dork. Speaking of which, I still haven't sat down and watched any of that show, he says proudly. What's it about again? Well, I don't know much about it myself, but the hero of the Steel Samurai, warrior of Neo Tokyo, is a Steel Samurai, and his goal is to defeat the evil magistrate. It's a show geared towards kids. However, its high production values and riveting plot draws in a number of adults as well. Spin-offs like Pink Princess, Warrior of Little Tokyo, and the Nikko Samurai, along with the deluge of merchandise and even a new stage show, gives it presence. You sure know a lot. Are you sure you're not some sort of rabid fanboy? He is Gumshoe. He is. Of course not. Anyone that keeps up with society knows at least this much. And that conversation lasted longer than expected. Let us return to the investigation, he says, trying to save some of his dignity. Oh, it's your trophy, the Knight of Prosecutors, right? King of Prosecutors. And it's not a trophy, it's a shield. They only send this to the winning prosecutor, right? Yes, but I have no real interest in the perceived worth of other people. As for my own worth, that is something only I can determine for myself. That's so slick, sir. I'm going to have to try saying that sometime. You couldn't pull it off, Gumshoe. Unfortunately for him, his monetary worth is tied directly to his worth to me. Stop cutting his paycheck, Edgeworth. That's just mean. All right, let's look at this. Watch out for the teacup fragments there, sir. That killer's going to pay. This tea set. Yikes, you're really mad over this. Yeah, he's mad about that. I don't know what he's going to say about the dead guy in his office. This tea set is very dear to my heart and can only be bought in England. Then go fly to England and buy another tea set. You're very rich. It costs more than your whole month's paycheck. And whose fault is that, Edgeworth? What? Now I feel like the killer's wasted one of my monthly paychecks. That's not how it works, Gumshoe. Now let's see. These books. They finished photographing the body, so it should be alright to examine this area. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. If you say so. All right, let's see. Let's look at this pile of books. It looks suspicious. Your files are all over the floor, sir. They probably fell during the struggle between the victim and his killer. Signs of struggle. My files are a mess, pointing to a struggle between the victim and the killer. Logic bubble. Aw, and I tried so hard to keep this place spotless while you were away. You did a real good job with that, Gumshoe. I mean, this just rendered all of the time and effort I put in pointless. I don't recall ever asking you to clean my room. Well, I watered the flowers every day, just like you requested, sir. I just added cleaning to the list as a weekend special. For about half a day every Saturday, I'd come in and clean this place until it sparkled. Does he have a life? What do we have here? Hey, I think I've seen one of these before. It's a police badge, detective. Oh, hey, I have the exact same thing, actually. What a quinky-dink. Let's take a look inside. Mr. Buddy Faith. It would appear that our victim was a detective, just like you. Victim was a detective. According to his badge and ID, Buddy Faith was a Princeton detective. And I guess Edgeworth didn't recognize him. I seem to have gathered a few pieces of pertinent information. Now to calmly use some logic and figure out if any of them are connected to each other. Well, let's check this bloody hand first. Let's see here. There's blood all over his lower abdominal area. Looks like the bullet passed clean through his stomach, sir. In other words, he was shot. Thank you, Mr. Obvious. Yep, and until the autopsy's done, I don't think we'll know much more than that. Please have the body sent to the morgue once they're done processing the crime scene. You have a nice bloodstain on your floor, Edgeworth. Are you going to be okay with keeping track of the evidence we find, sir? Of course. This is the safest way I know to keep track of it all. Alright, if you say so. Yes, so Edgeworth, superpower is remembering crap. I keep all the evidence I find either in or with my organizer. When I want to re-examine a piece, I have but to touch the organizer button. Well, I guess not all of it goes in his head. But the organizer isn't only for evidence. I keep people's profiles on hand in it too. It's probably a good idea to make a habit of checking the facts often. Let's see if there's anything else to examine. I don't believe it! I packed those files on these shelves so tight that not even an earthquake could make them fall off. But just look at them. At this rate, the rest of the files won't be able to withstand an earthquake at all. A problem, to be sure. Well, once the investigation is over, we'll put them back up on the shelf. Let's see here. Oh, we did all that already, so let's skip. And let's go back and see if we can logic anything, as Edgeworth says. Oh, talking to Gumshoe again. Let's go back. Logic. Okay, let's see what we have. The killer's goal, signs of struggle, revolver, and the victim was a detective. Well, I think these two things are connected somehow. The victim was a detective, and the revolver was the same model as those used by precinct detectives. All right, let's connect our thoughts. Ooh, sparklies. Yay! The revolver, the standard model used by detectives. Could it have belonged to our recently departed? Detective Gumshoe, could you please thoroughly check the victim's body one more time? Yes, sir. On it now, sir. Excuse me, pal. Let's see what we have got down here. Mr. Edgeworth, sir. The guy's wearing a gun holster. So it appears that our killer somehow managed to take the victim's gun from him. And the detectives that were there didn't notice this? Victim's revolver data jotted down in my organizer. Let's see what else we can find out about this revolver. As I always say, you've got to look really carefully at each piece of evidence. You can use the scroll wheels to rotate an object. There's no such thing as a bad angle. Use the slide bar or the X and Y arrows to zoom in and out to get at the nitty-gritty. So let's see. What am I looking for? Let's look at the bullets, maybe? Yeah. It looks like only one round was fired from this. Wow, so the killer killed the Vic with just one shot after wresting the gun from him? Sounds like the guy knew how to handle a gun, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? We have no proof for now, but that is a distinct possibility. I guess this is about all we're going to find out. We should send the body to, Jim! Oh, it's Sports Guy from earlier. Why, oh why? How could this have happened to a guy like you? Says the murderer. Dramatic irony. Are you all right? Don't touch me. Leave me alone. Just let me be. Sorry, but I can't do that. The investigation is still ongoing, so please refrain from touching the body. The body? The body? Don't talk about him like he's just some lump of flesh. Look at him. Jim looks like he's just turned in for the night. Yeah, with a gaping hole in his stomach. Sure, just in a blood-stained suit, pal. Oh, he's crying now. Where are my manners? Aren't you that prosecutor? Why, yes, I am. I'm Jacques Portsman, prosecutor. Jim here was my partner in crime, busting. I'm Miles Edgeworth, and like you, I am also a prosecutor. What prosecutor wouldn't know the king of prosecutors? Detective Dick Gumshoe, sir. So you're Miles Edgeworth. I guess this is your office? Yes, that is correct. Well, that guy's wearing a medal around his neck. Then it was you! You're the one who killed Jim! I guess it's symbolism, like he's the champion or something. Or thinks he is, at least. Hey, don't go around jumping to conclusions, pal. Just calm down, okay? I will not! I know how things work around here. High prosecutor's office doors all have locks built into them. And only the owner of the office has a key to his or her own office door. That is correct. However, I was not the one who killed your partner. Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth has been overseas on a business trip this whole time, pal. And the key to the door was with me the entire time, okay? So did you kill him, Gumshoe? So the only one who could get in here was me. Wait, that means... I'm not sure what that means. So it was you then? You're Jim's killer. No way, pal, you've got it all wrong. Everyone calm down. Oh, I don't know how to make that sound. Mr. Portsman, correct? If you're a real prosecutor, you should know to stay collected. The investigation has only just begun. Isn't it too early to be drawing conclusions? I don't know. Those are the kinds of conclusions you'd be drawing when you were prosecuting murder cases, Edgeworth. Alright, I get the point. You're right, my mistake. I tend to get a little too hot-headed sometimes. Yeah, hot-headed enough to kill a guy. You sure are one cool customer, though, Mr. Edgeworth. I've heard all the rumors about you. You're the great genius prosecutor. You're something of a legend, you know. Anyway, let's call a truce and work together, okay? Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal? A pleasure to work with you. Oh, that's rude. You didn't shake his hand, Edgeworth. You guys are conducting your investigation, right? Sorry for barging in like that. Carry on, then. It's your room, after all. Thank you. I intend to. I just want a little more time to say goodbye to Jim. You there, sir. I want you to capture this scene on film for me. My final farewell to my partner, Jim. I should probably give them some space. And on that lovely note, I will end for tonight.